Conversation, 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 conversation. Life's journey. Hey, conversation, 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 conversation. Let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone. It's Conversations with Moji. And today we have a very informative and interesting topic. We're going to be starting this topic for the next few episodes. And the topic is abuse. Yes, there are different aspects of it. And we have someone that will be able to explain more to us from our own personal experience. So with me today, I have another commando. Her name is, we knew her as Toyin O back then in command. And interestingly, she was in Dragon House. So today we're going to be we're going to start this series with Toyin, and she's going to be explaining some things to us. And I hope this benefits both the young and the older ladies. Yeah, Toyin, welcome to Conversations with Moji. I know you're in transit, but thank you. We're going to do it whichever way we can. And we're glad to have you here today. Thanks for taking our time to be on the show. I'll allow you to introduce yourself. Yeah.
Thank you very much, my fellow commando sister. It's a great pleasure to be finally with you, despite the circumstances of driving. I can multitask, so we're doing it very well. So my name is Oluwatoyi Anytime. Ashley Olayinka Sikuade. And I attended Command Secondary School, Lagos, after attending the first 2 years in Command Ibadan. And that's where my background in education is. And then in career-wise, I'm a nurse, professionally trained nurse. And I've been a nurse for about 3 decades now. And what else do I have 3 kids, 3 wonderful kids that have been on this journey with me, that we're all recovering together. And it's a pleasure to be here to shed light on a topic that is very secretive, very shameful. And I plan to expose or open it up so that people are comfortable and know the signs of abuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. And yes, one of the things you said is that this is a topic most people shy away from. People don't want to talk about it. Many people even live in denial. They don't want to accept that this is happening to them. And but it's something that, whether we like it or not, we have to talk about it. It's so you can help us. And I'm glad we are going to be opening up and talking to us about it. So you tell us, how did all of this start? I know in our conversation, we'd like for you to start from I know we all want love. Everybody wants to be loved.
Yes.
And so tell us, how was it at the beginning for you?
Okay. So I think most people know me from my command days as a very happy, jolly, ever smiling, ever playing, very cheerful, open person. And that's who I am. And it carried on through my life. And people talk about how kind I am, how giving I am, willing to share. And you are that person. And the way our parents raised us, especially commandos, always be kind, always be nice, those things. And I carried it through my life. And in 2004 was when I started. I was already successful, and I had a good life. But I had no husband. I had my 5-year-old daughter at about 2005. She was born 1999, so that gives you about the age bracket in 2004. And I was single, and I made it very clear I was ready to get married and settle down. And that was the beginning. So I had a lot of men that wanted to be with me or propose to me because, mind you, I have what it took to settle down. But um, I went to my girlfriend's house, and there was this gentleman sitting there, and he looked familiar. That was another thing. He looked familiar. So I greeted him and sat down, and I noticed he greeted me back. And that was it. So apparently he asked my friends for my number, and he asked for some information about me, that he admired me or he liked me. Later down, years later, I will find out the things that he said about me, which will be talked about later on. But just like any innocent person would like someone, we liked each other. And my girlfriend then did not, she wasn't supportive of it. She was like, I really don't want you to be with him because he's new to America. He hasn't started anything. He's not established. You are established. Um, and he's a friend of my husband, and I really don't want issues to break us up down the road. And that's the basic of how my relationship started, just like anybody. And we went on. A month later was when we actually connected. And we weren't intimate. We were trying to get to know each other. But then at that time, I noticed I really, like, he was missing some stuff. It wasn't like our typical commando. It wasn't like me, or it wasn't like us. So I tried breaking the relationship or the beginning of the relationship off, but it would not go. And then he said he had a dream that he had seen me as his wife. Oh boy, was I flattered. So he had all the right words. Charming guy, good looking. He had the magic words for me, and it got me. It got me. And within 6 months, he was living in my home.
Okay, let's back up a bit. So one of the things you said was, I mean, at the beginning, would it be right to say maybe you were desperate at the time you met him, or you were, as you said, you were ready for marriage? So were you just looking out for anybody?
I think I was ready for marriage.
Okay.
I had prepped my home. I had a home, an apartment that I rented out. I had a couple of cars. Credit was fine. I had a nanny for my daughter. I had a housekeeper. So life was good in New Jersey. I was ready for marriage.
Yes, you were.
And he found out I was ready for marriage. But the thing was, he noticed we were not on the same level.
Okay.
We were not.
What do you mean? Is it, you said it was not like our command people. Is it the, I mean.
Yes. Today today I can look back and I can actually tell you that he wasn't like the other kids that I was raised like. And by saying that, It's not to demean anyone, but it was that he wasn't like the other guys that had gone out with. There were warning signs, but I was like, hey, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy, I think. And he wasn't married then. That's what he said. And he had no children. That was he said. And he was ready to settle down. That's what he said. And I wasn't desperate. I was just right. Like an apple that is ripe.
Yeah.
That was it.
Good. That answers the question. You were not like you were desperate. So I wouldn't say you just jumped into it. You were actually ready for it.
I was.
And you believed in whatever the person was telling you.
Yes, I did believe in everything that was telling me. Looking back now, he didn't say much. And looking back, I was enchanted. So the combination was just perfect. I didn't ask many questions. I didn't say, oh, where are you from in Lagos? Let me go look at where you are from Lagos. Let me go find out information that today, before my daughter gets involved with anybody, especially a Nigerian, I will dig. I will go to your village. I will check under the bed. I will look in your medicine cabinet. I will check your mother out. I will check your father out. That is the kind of person I've become. So my children do not become victims like this happens to me.
So, before now, I'm sure if somebody had asked you, would you be involved in choosing a mate for your house, for your child, or in choosing who your child marries? You have said no, right?
For me, I would love to choose the mate. I would like to give my daughter the direction towards, hey, let me check this guy out. We need to put in some tests. We need to check who his parents are. We need to check whether he changed his name several times, because that happened. We found all this out after the relationship broke up. So I want to know where you're from. I want to know your upbringing, your belief system, your principles. Are you forgiving? Are you loving? He said he loved God. That blew my head open. I fell in love. Oh, yes, he loves God. No, those are the magic words. It's more than that. So I would love to choose my child's husband, but on the grounds of I knowing that this man, this is the background, and this is what the parents are like. Because your in-laws are your backbone if anything happens in your relationship. So check them out very well. And that's what I'm doing for my daughters and even my son when he gets there. Yeah.
Yes, then.
Check them out.
Yeah. So, okay, now, would you say in the course of your courtship, you said within 6 months, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, they say you know the person while courting. Would you say you did not court for a long time, or it wasn't enough time, or you were just not seeing some things?
It's a blessing if you can see. And it's another blessing if you know what you're looking for. Our parents did not raise us like that. That's why I said it did not come from that circle of parents that were like my parents. I assumed it was until later down the road, I found out the parents were almost opposite of my parents, my upbringing, our principles, our religion, the way we talk to each other, the way we love. That was done after the fact was when I found all this out. So I just told the children, I said, guess what? This is never going to happen again. Never. So these are the things you look for. We investigate. 6 months is enough for you to start knowing a person. But by the 6 months that I was really getting involved with him, it was already too late because he was living in my home. He said I asked him to stay there. And I said, yeah, but I did not say you should live with me. I thought he was going to be coming and going. Not, those were signs of if he moved in. I should have seen that coming. My place was more comfortable than his. My neighborhood was better than his. There were signs, but did I ignore it? No, I just did not know that those were the signs. Those were negative signs to look for. So that's why I'm putting this out there. You have to investigate, 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 investigate.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, and it would be right to say to the to a child or to a girl, to the girl child, there's some things to look out for. There are certain things to look out for while you are. Engagement is not for discovering your bodies, but for finding out things. Yeah, because I think that's what most people want to have a boyfriend for, just to discover their bodies.
Yes.
Instead, it is a time to prepare yourself and ask the right questions. It's so important that we ask questions.
Yes, it's very important to ask the right questions. And another thing I told myself was, your parents have to be really, really involved with who their child or children are bringing home. The reason why I said so was my mom finally met him like 3 months later because my daughter kept talking about him to my mom.
Okay.
And when my mom finally met him, I think she spoke with him, but my mom said he was rough on the edges.
Okay.
I did not understand that. Now I look back, he was jagged on the edges. Those were signs. I wish my mom had just said, hey, no, and walk away like she had done with some previous dates. I would have just loved that. But I think she felt, okay, Toyin is ready. She's old enough.
Yeah.
She has a child. Maybe, you understand? It was maybe, but I am more proactive now in the sense that I think mom and dad needs to check whoever their children are going to be with. Because 10 years down the line, you will ask yourself that question. Did I check? Did I see? What did I see? What were the signs? Trust me, parents, check out for your, investigate. Your children may hate you for that, but they will love you down the road. When the marriage works out, they will.
Interesting. So what are even though I know he said the right things, there may be some other things. You felt loved, really. Even though he was living in your house, I'm sure he also pampered you. How was it at the beginning? One thing that surprises me is how we confess so much love at the beginning, and then suddenly things change. So, but how were you at the beginning? Have you always been doubtful?
Honest speaking, oh boy. 7 days after he started living in my house, almost 6 days in, he choked me. If that was not the biggest red flag, nothing else could have been more. He had choked me because I was working in the ER, and there was a doctor in the ER that was interested in me. He bought me lunch. He would get me coffee by the time I get there in the morning, afternoon lunch. And then in the evening, he would call just to hi, like, how are you doing? So I had other people, other guys that were interested. But what he did differently was he moved into my home.
Okay.
And blocked everybody out. So that particular day, he choked me 6 days in. He broke my phone, the Motorola phone. I still kept it. Broke my phone into two. So every time I see that phone, I remember. The doctor called me at around, let's see, in the evening, around 9 or 8, around 9. And he heard a male's voice. And next thing he said, who are you talking to? And I'm like looking at him like, this is my home. I can talk to anybody I want to. He's like, who are you talking to? Jokingly, I'm not taking this seriously. Next thing, he goes for my phone. And I'm trying to prevent him from taking my phone. Because at the end of the day, you're not my boyfriend, you're not my husband. We're just beginning to maybe have a relationship. When he couldn't get the phone, he now went as far as, like he slammed me to the bed. And then the choke, I will always remember the one hand choke and the other hand to get the phone as I'm holding on to it. And when he got it, took the phone, broke it into two. That was the beginning of the next 13 years of my life. So I did get a red flag 6 days in. Why did I not act on it is a question of a lifetime. Because nothing like that had ever happened to me in my 30 plus years of life. Mind you, I'm a 30-something-year-old woman at this point. I'm not naive or anything. So it was shocking that he started begging, prostrating on the floor. The Yoruba Nigerian way of begging. Begging. And I fell for that begging. Oh, okay, it will never happen again.
Would you say it was a traditional? Would you say was traditional? That means, African men believe that the wives have to be submissive, and they have a right to the woman. Would you say that was his problem?
I think looking back now, if you notice, I tell you everything is looking back now, hindsight. So his problem was you wanted to be with this successful woman who had the money, who had the house, who had the job, had the looks, very social, alive, everything. Good looking. You wanted to be with that woman. But little did you know, looking back now, he wasn't secured. His insecurities was the beginning. You're going out with a person above you. Their insecurities are there. Then our tradition says, oh, it's okay. Then there's another thing of us saying, oh, okay, I forgive you. Okay. Give him a second chance. Whereas the first time is the last time. My children know that. The first time anybody places their hands on you, slaps you, says anything, verbally abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive, financial abusive, walk, go away. That's the beginning. Chances are it's not going to stop. The statistics are not good. It only progresses.
But
So,
that's interesting. Yeah. But when he blocked other people from coming in and he moved in, did you feel it was love? And did you feel, I also want to know if you ever felt loved or you loved him.
What had happened was I was very aware of, I wanted to settle down.
Yeah.
The fun about me was, as much as I wanted to settle down, I wanted to just, if I wasn't going to find the right man, because I had opportunities in the past of marrying maybe a doctor, a lawyer, the professionals, a nurse, but I was too not serious. So the timing was, okay, I'm serious. I'm ready. And he knew that. But another thing I found out big time was when you have somebody that is just coming to America, just beginning to settle down, is looking for everything. That's another question. when women say, if you're a ready-made woman, should you go for a man that doesn't have it together yet? 99% of my answer is don't go for him, because he will not be able to provide the things that you need to keep a healthy relationship. So that's
the picture I have in my head now is that, for maybe, as you said, it's the insecurities, right? And being involved with a lady that is someone that is higher than you. Some men cannot handle that.
Yep.
So I'm thinking maybe that may be some of the problems. Or
I
maybe
think that
maybe you made him realize, or you made him feel lower or something.
The funny thing was, you pretty much know me from school days. Yeah. My carefree attitude to life changed. I was not secretive. I did not have bias or any prejudice within me. I was so free that my freedom, I think, was a problem for him. Like, can this woman really be judged like this? He had the key to my house. He had the my ATM card. He had a car. He had one of the cars. Girl, I did for him what a man would do for a woman. Girl. So, yes, I wasn't desperate. I was ready.
Just free.
And just free. A lot of guys tell me they wish they were in his shoes later down the road. Because I was just giving. I was kind. I do give to people I don't know. So it was not anything strange, considering I was already in love with him. And no woman is foolish. But I didn't have an hidden agenda. I didn't. I look at other women that have agenda. I don't blame them. Today, if a woman says, I'm looking for a rich man, go for them. If a woman says, hey, I can't be with a man that is not established, kudos to you, don't. If a woman says, I want to go out with a guy that has nothing, I will build him up, good for you. But I never knew the insecurity with him, because he really never showed it. But I'm sure people around me saw it. And that did not help his case. So I think that's when the pretense started.
Okay.
People could see the pretense. The wolf, I call him hyena. The hyena with the sheep clothing. People could see, but they really could not tell me. I had some people say, why would you go out with somebody that is not established? Chances are he's going to use you. And I'm like, use me. I have nothing to be used for. Not knowing I had a lot to be used for. So looking for knowing your value, your self-worth, very powerful. Tell your daughters, your sons, what they are worth. Your education, your kindness, your principles, everything your parents have raised you with is what makes you very worthy. It's not about the money. But as I found out, we were raised two different ways. So again, you say the signs, there were signs. But I was like, okay, fine. He has begged for forgiveness. I've forgiven him. No problem.
I say it's interesting. I think I asked you one of the times I called you and I said to you, I believe you were raised. I mean, I think my father knew your father at once. I mean, I can't remember the whole story, but I believe you were raised maybe you were raised in an environment of love. I don't know. Because I think people like that, we hardly see when others are, trying to use us.
I can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, recording in progress. Okay, what I found out, I got on the shoulder. what I found out was that, oh boy, hello,
I can hear you.
hello.
I can hear you.
What I found out was, okay, what I found out was that we were raised in a unique way. Our parents are those parents that are university graduates, most of us. Our parents were teachers, the middle class, the upper middle class, and command exposed us to the general's children, up to the sergeant's children, up to the ACD, ADC, everybody, different ranks we were exposed to. And if you realize, a lot of us from the middle class traveled, were well exposed, and we were mommy, daddy, nurtured. Driver took you everywhere you go to. You were protected.
Yeah.
You weren't exposed to the what I later found out, to the what do you call it? Like to the exposed to the area boys, to the area boys. We weren't. My mom never took me to Agege. Nothing bad about Agege. She never. I wasn't exposed to a lot of things. Unlike today, I take my children to inner cities. I allow them to see what life really is. So, offense played a big deal with me. I wasn't vigilant. I wasn't seeking. I was just ready to love, settle down, have children, live my life. Mind you, I wasn't living on his money. It's my money. So all the things I needed, I had. Unlike other women, when they don't have that, you seek it, you chase after it for a man. But I had it all. But did I? So it's the two different families upbringing. He was suspicious. When we talk about when he started isolating me, when we talk about that, you will hear how that started. But his insecurity, when a man or woman is insecure, is another sign that down the road, you're going to have problems. If you don't want to have problems down the road, run, get out. The quicker you get out of a relationship that has red flags, the better off you are. It's not for you. It may be for somebody else that is desperate, or she may be for somebody else that is desperate. But in my case, I tell my children, run. Just avoid it, get away. And there are signs.
There are signs. Yeah. So, as I said, we're going to have it in three episodes, if you do not mind.
Yes.
And so we're going to be talking, the next episode will be about some of the things that started happening by the time you got married, after you got married. Were you ever married to him?
I will tell you what happened. By the time, let me give you a preamble.
Okay.
By the time we were 6 months in, I didn't know the master plan was to isolate us, was to move myself and my daughter out of New Jersey, Essex County. Everybody I knew are in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, like my circle of friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know his plan was to get me out. I thought, oh my God, he loves me. My girlfriend said she just drove by and she saw us moving. Shock. And I said, really, you were shocked? I said, I didn't know. I just thought that was a normal thing for somebody that you want to be with. The isolation began because now it could not control the people around me. So the best thing was get her out of there. Are we on? Okay. So by doing that, we got engaged. The traditional Nigeria engagement, nothing big. Because mind you, this man had nothing. Was that a sign? Yes. Yeah, nothing. And I should have looked at that. So my mom, by the time I was pregnant, 6 months, he moved us to Pennsylvania. In the boonies, in the bush. No friends, no family. Those were signs I didn't know. So my mom was like, "Yeah, if you're gonna be pregnant, you might just as well get married." I don't like that kind of a thing. I told her I didn't want to get married because don't forget, this was the man that choked me 6 days in. Why would I want to get married to him? So we did the traditional, and by the time it came around to get married, I had to start dragging. They were just, there were red flags. So I didn't get married on paper, but I did traditional.
We're going to take it from there the next time.
Thank
We'll
you.
take it from there the next time. That's very interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting to know. I'm dying to know, I mean, why the isolation? Why away from the family? Why away from the friends? So some of the questions would...
Big time.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I believe you have actually learned, I mean, a lot from this. For me, it's one of the things Toyin emphasizes, you must get involved. We should get involved with who our children are willing to get married to. And I think, it's something that I brought up that topic once and some people said, there's no need. But really, if you've gone through something, you will know that there's a need for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is love without, how are you, you said something about watching out for those with insecurity. And that's another very important thing to look out for. But at the end of it all, I'm sure we would have learned so much from Toyin.
Yes.
Again, thank you very, very much for your time. And I hope the next one you'll be in the house.
Yes, it'll be in the house. But whatever, you can't wait for the perfect
No.
time.
We're going to do it now. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And if I could say a closing note, I'm very grateful for my husband, who I married legally. That's from learning from my previous relationship. I married somebody that is not violent, and I asked him how would he feel if I spoke about this. And also, we have a book that we're writing about this, because my son was like, "Mom, you've got to write this so generation can learn." This is learning for the next generation. It's not for me. But I thank my husband for being confident within himself to hear me talk about this topic, because it's not an easy topic to talk about. So he's a very secured man, and I'm very grateful for that. And the children are very, commando. I should have, fellow commando. You need confidence. And my children also were very comfortable with this. They were like, yes, it's about time. Let's talk about this. Let's put it on paper. Let's put it on tape. So some people will not go through this thing called abuse. And I think you said mine was all of the abuse. Violence, financial, emotional, psychological, yes, verbal. And as you go through this journey, you would see what I meant. And it's by the grace of God I'm not dead. So that's why I'm speaking up. Speaking up.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate this.
All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Up to our next episode. Bye.
Bye.